All right, Treacle.
People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
But minus, unfortunately, at the moment, hopefully they'll join us very soon. Ryan and Chappers, we seem to be having some technical difficulties, but like we just said off air, Richard, we're old hands at this. I'm sure we can manage it ourselves, eh?
Yeah, we'll do our best. We'll give it a good shot anyway.
Well, thanks ever so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure having you back on today. We've got a few sort of topics that I wanted to discuss. And I think the main one it's really been on my mind for a little while now is as much as I really do back and really love Arteta as our manager, I can't help, and I'm always honest. I can't be anything other than honest. Have some worries and concerns about him, and I hope to God that they are all unfounded. But at the moment, that little run we had is masking over a huge amount of, very significant problems. We've lost 3 of the last 4 again in the league. We still sit 10th. I mean, thank God it's one of those mad seasons where we are still mathematically in with a shout of something in the league. However, there's some big worries, and the question really I've got for you, and I just want you to be completely honest, is do you think that it's the Europa League or bust for Arteta this season?
Well, I mean, I did a stream last night sort of on a similar theme, actually. And I believe that we have to get into Europe next season, one way or the other, whether it's in the league through top 6 or by winning the Europa League. Now, to me, both of those 2 options at this moment in time look to be very difficult. We've got a lot of ground to make up in the league. We can't afford too many more defeats when we've lost 11 games already. The Europa League, there's some big teams in there, good teams in there that it's going to be difficult. Not that we can't do it. The FA Cup was difficult to win last year and we did it. So while we're in it, I'm going to believe that we can do it. But I believe it's massively important that we get into Europe through one of the sources or the other, either through the league or by winning the Europa League. We have to financially. Because if we don't, we're going to have no budget. The Cronkies have already lost billions of pounds this last year, like a lot of other people have due to the pandemic situation. So we're not going to have much of a transfer budget without European football next season, which means I won't be able to continue the rebuilding of the squad, and the chances of us improving is going to be very, very small. So I think there's massive pressure on us to do it. If we get knocked out tomorrow at the Europa League, then one side of that is actually that might not be a bad thing because we can throw everything at the league, don't rest players, just go for it every league game, and we've got a chance at the top 6 still. Everyone's so inconsistent, but we're inconsistent ourselves, and can we do that? I'm not sure. So yeah, we have to get into Europe. I don't know necessarily winning the Europa League. It isn't our only option at the moment. Still, we still are in with a chance in the league. It's hard, but yeah, I think we have to be in Europe definitely. That's almost a guarantee that we have to be. But it's going to be, I say, it's hard, isn't it? Because look at where we are.
Exactly. But honestly, though, Rich, do you think that that's enough just to qualify for Europe again next season for Arteta to keep his job? Because I'm not sure. I honestly can't say that I'm sure that would be the case, personally. I mean, if we finished like in the last possible Europa League position, and obviously we drop out of the Europa League before the final, obviously, I'm not sure that he should keep his job after 2 seasons, despite all the issues that we've had this season, despite all the problems he's had to contend with, which I'm fully aware of, and I've mentioned in so many of my shows. But I still don't think that would be enough.
No, maybe not. Maybe it won't. I mean, at the moment, I suppose, when you look at how the season's gone for us, if we do finish in the top 6, we haven't been as high as the top 6 since probably the first couple of games of the season, which we won. And then maybe after 4 games, we'd won 3, we was probably in the top 6 at that point. But other than that, we've not been anywhere near the top 6. So if we finished in the top 6, it actually would be a decent turnaround and a decent finish to the season, since we were 15th at one point and we're 11th at the moment. So, but is it enough for Arsenal overall? Probably not. No, because last year we finished 8th. The season before we finished 5th, didn't we? The season before that we finished 6th. So it's not really good enough. Yeah,
one point of the championship. Champions League.
Yeah,
with I believe a much weaker squad overall.
And you imagine
a stronger squad now.
Well, yeah, you imagine how different this things would be now for Arsenal if we'd got in the Champions League that season. We had 2 opportunities through the league and in the Europa League final. We blew them both, and we didn't manage the squad particularly well at that point of the season and blew both of them. But imagine if we qualified for the Champions League and last season we'd been in the Champions League, bit of extra money. Would they have invested a little bit more in the team for Emery or not? Would that have made a difference? Would we be in a completely different situation now? Would we have Arteta at all? We just don't know, do we? But it's not. I agree that just finishing in the top 6 after the couple of seasons that we've already had, 3 or 4 seasons in a row that we've had outside the top 4, then it's probably not good enough overall. But I think in the circumstances, if we did manage to sneak into the Europa League via that position, then I suppose you've got to say Arteta maybe would deserve the opportunity to get a summer in with a couple of new players at a full pre-season, and he probably would deserve that. But if we don't get top 6 and we don't win the Europa League, I don't honestly see how to, as much as I love Arteta and I want him to succeed, but if that's the case, I don't see how the club can keep him, and I don't think we should, because we need to have more ambition than that as a club. That's what we need to have. We don't want to settle for 6th place or 5th place even. We want to settle for being, we're Arsenal at the end of the day. I know you can't guarantee your success and you can't expect to have success every season, but we should certainly have ambition to become, to get us back to where we were a few years ago, regular top 4 finishers, challenging for the title, and that's what I want to see us doing. But it is what it is at the minute, isn't it? We're not in that position yet to be able to do that. So it's a matter of getting this season out of the way and see where we are. And if we've managed to scrape in, then I suppose that's something to take from the season. And if we haven't, and we've got no European football next season, I do think that sorry Arteta, it's not quite working out. We've got more ambition for the club, and then moving on with someone else. I'm not it's going to make any difference with the same owners who aren't going to invest. I don't know, but as a club, I don't think we can accept mediocrity for very much longer, because I don't think we can. And I'm not saying it's all Arteta's fault, because it isn't. But unfortunately, what else can you change? If the owners aren't going to sell up and go, we can't get rid of every single player and rebuild the whole squad. So the only option we've got is to get rid of the manager, unfortunately. And that's just the same as every club. Frank Lampard suffered the same fate. I suppose he was slightly different. He had more money to spend. But ultimately, the club's got ambition. They want to do better. Then we've got to act like a big club. And that's what we've got to do.
Exactly. I'm not actually as worried about the ownership doing something like that anymore. I think they are a bit more ruthless than we think, to be fair. But I have to say, I want to put it on record as well, that I don't want any of this to happen. I don't want Arteta to fail. I don't want him to go. I want him to be a success more than anything else. I think he's got so much potential, we all know all the difficulties he's had. And let me just quickly pause for what I was saying for 1 second. Apologies, Ryan. I haven't introduced you. You here? Yeah, thank you. Thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem. As I said in private chat, burnt my hands. I'm just using ice packs now to calm my hands down.
Oh, no. It's Freddie Fourfinger feeling a bit fragile.
Oh dear.
I hope you're all right, mate. Anyway, glad you're here.
Good. I'm all good. How are you doing anyway?
Very good, mate. Very good indeed. You could just join us really when we're having a chat, and I'll come to you in a second about your thoughts. But because I said, just quickly recap, that run we had recently of wins where we were playing very well, it seems to be masking over the bigger issue once again, where we've lost 3 of the last 4 games, and I'm getting a bit worried. I've got my concerns about Mikel Arteta, and the question really that we've been discussing is it the Europa League or bust for him? Now we've had this. What we've got to at the moment is we've got to get to 6th as an absolute minimum because of the financial aspects of it. Getting back into the Europa League. I mean, can you imagine if we get into that Europa Conference? I mean, I don't know what. Can you show
Still
your
would win
face if we're in the Europa Conference next year?
We might
So-
not even get that. We might we at this rate.
I
And
don't
even if we
care.
get-
I wouldn't want that.
No, and
I'd
even,
rather get relegated to the Championship, and I'm genuinely serious about that. Anyway, but what I was doing, I was reiterating that I don't want any of this to happen. But I'm slightly in the ballpark, potentially what you said, Rich, whereby if we get sixth, he definitely has to deserves a chance to move forward. And I hope that'll be the case. But I actually do think that the ownership are a bit more ruthless than they used to be, and what we give them credit for. I do think that they're going to help and not put the hand completely in their own pocket, but loosen the purse string somehow. Maybe, move the books around a little bit to actually help us strengthen again in the summer. We'll come on to that a bit later in the show, so I won't go into that now. But what's your thoughts, Richard? Ryan, in overall, regarding this conversation? What do you think should happen if we, don't get much better than we are this season and we don't win the Europa League?
well, I said since Sunday really, because that's when I've started really, as you say, really getting concerned, because we're seeing the same patterns as we saw back in November through to Boxing Day, where a goal goes in against us and suddenly heads drop. Just that mentality we've seen under Wenger and Emery is coming in, and it's like, this is something Mikel, when he first came and said, this is the first thing I want to get rid of, this mentality, and change this mentality to a winning mentality. He's obviously been in the job over a year, and we're seeing the same traits in certain players, and he's still, and it's in certain players he keeps on picking. It was, again, very concerning. And no matter what, Willian, apart from obviously this week and just gone, no matter what, it seems Willian gets to play a part in the game, no matter what. It does concern me, because then it's like we're watching Wenger again, because Wenger did these similar things. He had his favourites, no matter what inform or out of form they would play, or they come off the bench and wouldn't do much. And it's.
But to be fair, we won more games under Wenger.
Oh, of course. That's the thing. That was the main thing with Wenger that kept him in the job even longer, because we were winning games. We were competing to get into Europe, Champions League or Europa League. With the last couple of years, we fell out into Europa League, but Champions League more so. Even when it looked like for the years of Villa, when Villa under Martin O'Neill, it looked like they were going to push us out of the way. The squad we had then had more fight. I mean, what's frustrating as well, and I know he's been on the job for a year, is 10 years ago, this month, we played Barcelona, the best team in Europe at the time, Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, etc. And we knew realistically going through was no chance, but we gave it a fight. Both legs we gave it a fight. And in the first leg we took a 2-1 lead away from that first leg and into the away leg. And even in the away leg we got robbed and go, but we gave fight. We're not seeing any fight from these players, even more so from the experienced players, the David Luiz's that everyone bigs up and praises, from the players, from the young player side of things. Oh, he's such a great influence with us and this, that, and the other. But when it comes down to it, we're not seeing that on the pitch. And it's not just even Rob Hold, it's the ones that have been here over 3 managers now. And it's very concerning. Going to the situation of a league table wall, if he should keep his job, if he turns it around and we get a Europa League like 5th or 6th, more likely 6th, let's be honest. If that's the realistic out of all the options here, if he gets that, then yeah, we give him enough. We look at it, league, okay, performances and all that. Looking at the table in terms of the losses and this, that, and that, not great, but in terms of positioning, there's an improvement suddenly compared to last season. Then the pressure's on him. No matter what, go out in the summer, get rid of the rest of the deadwood you don't want, and reinvest, and don't just buy the names from abroad that everyone will want you to sign or whatever. Do what was it? Jurgen Klopp, when he first came in, his first full summer window, he went and got Mane from a mid-table Southampton. Wijnaldum had just been relegated to Newcastle, and Robertson had just been relegated to Hull. And look where they are now. You don't have to. It just goes to show. Now, we've discussed it on this channel and my channel and other channels as well. We don't have to go out abroad and this, that, and to find these gems. You can look within your own country, within your own league, and in a championship as well.
Right, Ryan, a question for you, right? You're saying that if we finish sixth this season, it's an improvement on last season, and technically it's right.
In terms of the position,
last season, would
else,
you consider it to be a better season than last year? Last year we finished 8th and won the FA Cup. This year, if we finish 6th and don't win anything, it's a higher position in the league, and it does get us into Europa League, which was the same result as winning the FA Cup.
Yeah.
Would that be considered a better season? I don't know. I can't decide myself, actually. Winning the trophy is great. Last season wasn't a great season. This season hasn't been a great season.
As a whole, it won't be a great season, obviously, because obviously, as we said, we won a trophy. At least out of everything, we won something. If we don't win nothing this year, as a whole, it's a worse season. But in terms of the league itself and position itself, there's that improvement. That's where you can say, well, look, even though obviously they've got all the 11 league defeats, the FA Cup defeat, and the way we defended that was poor, by the way.
Points tally as well, though, is going to be worse. Even if we finish higher, isn't it? We're going to get
but he's going to have the excuse of, well, everyone's apart from Man City, by the looks of it, like the teams in the top two teams, everyone's points tally going to be worse than they were last season. That will be his argument, and that's what I think. If he does get sick, we'll get him out of jail. If he finishes anything out of the Europa League, like from not getting the Europa League, if he finishes like that conference monarchy or whatever or lower, that's when that's when the board have got to act like a big club. Like I keep saying, they've got to act like a big club and then go, well, you failed your main objective of Champions League football, be it the league or Europa League, no matter what. Your second objective was Europa League, the worst case scenario. You failed that. We can't afford that, especially in the current climate of COVID and this. Every other club that used to European football and the income, there's better managers out there in terms of want this job that we picked over you, and we've spent money. We've backed you like 45 million on Partey. No, Partey's been injured. They've gone up, but even Willian, even though we didn't spend a fee on him, we spent a lot of wages to get him in the door. These are players that Arteta wanted, and Willian, out of all of them, is obviously the worst one. We pick out because he's the one that's failed. He's the one that's come from a Premier League club in West London to a North London club.
Let me just say one thing about
that. It looks like he hasn't really. So go on, sorry.
I was just going to say, just let me squeeze one comment in about that. One thing I'm going to back, I'll back Arteta with a lot of things, but what I'm going to back him with at the moment is that's I don't get all of the major criticism all the time for putting it on Arteta alone for signing Willian when he did at that particular point in time, because I don't really think that anyone in the whole of the world, any football fan across the world, will be able to have predicted just how bad and utter shite that he's actually been for Arsenal. You didn't see that after last season. And we were so broke, and with the pandemic, and we got a lot of good players in. Don't forget, apart from with Willian. When I didn't want Willian, I put it out there many times. I wanted, throw like I said last year. I said I don't really want to get in his way. But I went to I understood because of the lack of funds, the need for a player like that, the amount of players that we got rid of from midfield in that last season. We knew that Ozil wasn't going to be a player week in, week out. We needed someone. And after the season he had with Chelsea, no one wanted the length of contract or but it's not our money, right? So let's put the money to one side.
Oh, yeah. But I'm just saying for the club perspective.
You can't say that after that season he had with Chelsea that it was an absolutely utter garbage decision from Arteta at that point. But you can't
keep picking him, though. He does keep picking him.
You can't foresee the future. You can't foresee the future, can you?
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not going to go in for that. And what I'm saying is, in the Bulls, especially Stan's head, with what we know about his financial losses in the last year because of what's happened globally, in his head, it'll be like, from like come the summer, it'll be like, well, this is even though all the other transfers so far, touch wood, have worked under Arteta, the ones players have brought in and all that. This is because he's the next Premier League. He's a Premier League player from Chelsea to Arsenal because there weren't that need for a transition because he's obviously used to the league. That's what it'd be called up for, and things like that. It'd be the little things. Any excuse from Stan, or we're saying that they're getting a bit more ruthless, especially with Josh having more of the reign of the club over Stan. We don't know how ruthless Josh mentally might be in that sense, because it might be Josh saying pull the trigger.
Yeah. I've said I'm going to apologise for people that watch regularly, and I've said this several times. But I don't think
I'm not
coincidence.
I'm not advocating him being sacked. I'm just saying these are could be the mindset of what the board will think if we don't get a European spot.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it was a coincidence personally. I don't care what anyone says that the summer that they got 100% ownership, the Cronkies, that was the summer that Arsene Wenger left. I don't think that's a coincidence. As soon as they were able to make that decision themselves, he was out the door, and that you can't get any more ruthless than that. Sacking a manager like Wenger. I'm going to say hello to James as well, and everyone else that's been and watching, because James Johnson's put a couple of great points in the chat. Thanks, James. Evening, all three of you. I think sacking a project manager only 1 year into what they called a 3 to 5 year project and rebuild is wrong. Regardless of results, in my opinion, he gets the summer, then assess in November. And he's also added, Arteta wanted a wide forward, but the club went, look, you can't have money for that, and a CDM and a cam. Raul and Edu presented Willian, heard the data, we gambled, and it's gone wrong. And you can't really argue with that, really. It was a gamble, it's gone wrong. I don't believe it was a massive gamble, because he was still one of Chelsea's best players. So, God knows what's gone wrong with him. God knows. He must need, I think, a wire's a bit loose or something. He needs to re-solder him back into place or something like that. But it's just disastrous. But anyway, let's leave that one there.
Going back to James's point, the first point he made about the 3 to 5 year project, for me, you can't ignore results, because football's a results business. And at the beginning, I suppose it's like, say, for example, use the example of, say, a marriage. You go into a marriage and you want it to last forever, but things change and sometimes it doesn't work. And unfortunately, with this 3 to 5 year project, it's looking as though it's not going to work. And if it doesn't work, it's not worth sticking with it just because we said it was a 5 year project or a 3 year project. It's going to take that long, probably, but we need to be getting progressively better. And this season we haven't, and there's been reasons for that. But I'm not saying we should get rid of him straight out of the summer necessarily. What I'm saying is, just because we said it was a 3 to 5 year project doesn't mean we can't get rid of him before that time if the results continue to go on a downward spiral. I don't think, we're a big club and we can't act like that. And people say, oh, Liverpool finished 8th under Klopp the first season, or whatever it was, and this, that, and the other. And they had a project, and maybe that's true. But they were seeing some signs of the progress, whereas I don't think we're getting that. But it is to me, it's results driven, and I think we need to look at the results. If at the end of this season they haven't been good enough, then
I just wish we were better to watch as well. I just wish that.
Yeah,
I really do. We've had our moments. Don't get me wrong. We've had our really good moments. Yeah. But overall, it's dire.
And that's another frustrating thing, because we've seen what Arteta's, and as you said in glimpses, what Arteta's style is going forward.
Is that him? Is it, or is it just a good player?
I don't think it is, actually. I've got to be honest.
No, I don't. I was starting to think that, and I don't want to put. I say it again. I don't want to be thinking like this. I
can't
help it.
Yeah, I think games like Man City on Sunday, the wakes up on Sunday, don't help him, because as I said 10 years ago, we're going back to October with Barcelona, the best ever Barcelona team, best team in Europe, period. And now fast forward 10 years, and we're setting up to defend a 1-0 defeat. And then only go for it in the last 5 minutes and things like that.
I've been saying this for years. I've been saying it for years about how we've got an inferiority complex that we can't get rid of. We go up against them, and do you know what? And I'm going to say this: a lot of the amazing results and trophies that Man City have got is because of the reputation and because people don't play against them. Very rarely.
Too much respect for them.
They go onto the pitch and they think they're beaten already.
Yeah.
And that, I think that plays a massive part of the big percentage of their wins. Because I don't think they're as good. People purr about them and say they're the best team I've ever seen, best team in Europe. I'm not denying that they're an incredibly good team, but they're not. It's not as if they're not beatable.
Exactly.
If you just
Start
have a
the
go at
season.
them, I mean, I can virtually guarantee. If I'm not, I hate to say this, but I'm going to. I think under Wenger, we would have had a chance of winning that game on the weekend against Man City.
Because he would have gone for it. He would have set the team up no matter
Yeah.
what. Go toe to toe. You're good enough.
I honestly
Because he had belief in the players, no matter what their opponent, if they were Barcelona or whatever from yesteryear. He had the belief that he's played good.
He made them think they were good.
Yeah.
He made them have that mentality.
Yeah.
Why did Arteta set the team up to beat Man City in the FA Cup last season and not to set up to beat them in the league game on Sunday?
Well, we didn't go for the throat.
No, but he set up the team to win the game. He had tactics to work against Man City because he knew how Man City would play, and he got that right. And
what were those tactics, though? They were
to allow Man City to
tactics. Underdog tactics, mate. They were underdog tactics.
No, they were, yeah. No, but it worked, didn't it? And, we didn't even do that on Sunday, did he? He basically, and when he came out at the end and said he was almost satisfied with a 1-0 defeat, because, a 1-0 defeat's not too bad. I'm like, sorry, mate, this is Arsenal. A 1-0 defeat to anybody when we've not tried to get the equaliser is not acceptable. And I don't mind losing games. Man City are better than us, and if they beat us, they beat us. But let them beat us because they've been better than us, not because we just rolled over and had our tummies tickled, because that's what happened. And it's not the first time that's happened this season. It's happened in a lot of games. Have a go at it. The last, why don't we score late goals under Arteta? Have you thought about that? We don't score late goals, do we? Late equalisers.
Two after 72 minutes.
Yeah,
in the
entire.
That's ridiculous. That just sums out for me. We've been losing 1-0. How many games have we been losing 1-0? When's the last 10-minute onslaught? Where is it? I've never seen one yet.
I've said on my channel numerous times as well. In the time at the Emirates, when we first moved to the Emirates, we were 1-0 down. It was a score draw, 0-0 draw against anyone. We literally set up camp for the last 15 minutes in the attacking half, and just set up camp and attack, and test the goal and make. They're going to get anything out of it. They had to work for it. We just go, okay.
In those circumstances, you can almost accept losing because at least the team have tried everything to try and get it back. And you think, okay, we were beaten by the team who were better on the day, and that's fair enough. But when you lose, when you haven't even tried to get it back, to me, that's not acceptable. And it's happened 6 or 7 times this season, at least, in games. All these one goal defeats that we've had. I can't remember a last 10-minute onslaught in any of them. Leicester at home was the same. Man City away was the same. Man City at home. Aston Villa away the other week. No onslaught in the last 10 minutes. He's not changing tactics. And I know we haven't got a plan B. We haven't got a Giroud type striker or a big lump to knock the ball up to. But we've got to do something different to try to get back in these games, and we're not doing it. And to me, that's a lack of, I don't know, maybe a lack of tactical understanding from Arteta, not trusting the players. Or for me, it's maybe playing it too safe so we don't concede another goal.
It's not been just him, though, is it? This has been under Emery. It's been under...
under Emery. We had late comebacks under Emery. We did it a lot. We had a lot of late comebacks under Emery.
Against the big teams. I know, but what I'm talking about here is not an overall style of play. It's against the big teams, being the underdog. And I don't know what's going on with regards to our mentality when it comes to that. And can you hear us all right, Chappers? Chappers? No, don't look like it. I don't know what's going on. You can't join us, but must have bad signal. We'll come back to you, Chappers, if you can hear us eventually. But no, it's not an overall picture I was talking about there. It's going into these games as the underdog and feeling like the underdog, and more importantly, acting like the underdog. And I've been banging a drum for I can't remember how long about this, and we've got a really good squad. I don't care what anyone says. We've got some really good, talented players. And if you look at Aston Villa this season, who should have been, they should be playing Championship football right now. They should have been gone down with that goal that against Sheffield United, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
So they should be a Championship team, but they're not. They stayed up. They've made some good acquisitions. Nowhere near the quality on paper of the acquisitions that we brought in. Nowhere near. But you look at what they're doing on the pitch, and they're fearless. And look at Leeds. Are they scared of any club? No. Why have they got that attitude and we haven't? Why are they the big clubs this season and we are the mid-table clubs? Why? There's no reason for it. And we don't take the game to anyone, not even Burnley or anyone in the lower part of the Premier League. We don't take the game to any of them.
No, not even Sheffield United at home, and that's literally at the beginning of the season when they couldn't get a goal. Their first goal of the season was against us because we went 2-0 up, took the foot off the gas. I mean, but like you said, them sort of teams and that sort of stance at that time, we'd go for the kill. We'd literally go 3, 4, 5. We don't even do that anymore. We get to a certain point and go, okay, we'll take the foot off the gas, no worries.
Oh, there's nothing more frustrating than when you're playing really well and you're actually really enjoying the game for once, and you think, oh, this game we could actually give out a good hiding today, and we just stop. All of a sudden, it's like switching the switch, and we stop.
Oh
God, it's the same old story.
Yeah, we saw a couple of weeks ago when we played.
Sorry, hang on a second, Ryan. Chappers, can you hear us? Chappers? I heard you.
Hello, I can't see you. I can hear you. Hang on, I can't see you, but I can hear you. 1 second. Hang on.
All right, then mute yourself then while you sort yourself out. Sorry, carry on, Ryan.
No, I was saying a few weeks ago when we played Leeds, we went 4-0 up, and then we took a foot off the gas, and then had them back into the game. We got 2 goals back, and it was just like, and then you're on edge for the last 20 minutes.
What the hell? Is that Love Cat?
Oh, that's a good song.
What the heck is
going on?
You put a background track on those Chappers.
Probably get sued now.
Coming from my
as well.
How bizarre. Can anyone see me or hear me?
We could see and hear you.
All I can
you'll
do
hear
is
this in about 20 minutes, right?
by the Cure, and I have no idea where it's coming from. Not going to lie, chaps. This is kind of weird. This is really weird, actually. Like, I have no idea what's happening. What?
Chappers, can you mute yourself?
Oh my god.
Well, that was the Cure, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello? I don't even know which device
available.
This is bonkers.
Right, hang on a second. Right, I'm going to go through some of the comments.
I can't hear you, I can't see you. Don't know what else to say.
Chappers, can you mute yourself? For the love of God.
Hello?
You can't hear us.
This is calamitous. Right, let's try again.
Good evening to Russ. Good evening to Military Gooners TV. Thank you very much for watching.
I don't know what's happened. I can't hear you or anything.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Chappers.
Play the Cure again, Chappers. It's fine.
We'll be right back after these adverts.
I can't even.
Am I in?
I don't know what's going on.
Yes.
Oh my god.
That's when I said you'll hear this in about 20 minutes' time. He's actually heard it now.
Oh dear.
Right. James Johnston. Right, great points, Rich. I feel like the big task to rebuild the whole club starts this summer. First transfer window, we can really rip it up, start again, and build in his image. What is his image, James? Have you got an idea? Because at the moment, I'm really doubting whether he's actually got one. We've got rid of a lot of the bobbing. Hang on a second. One second. I'll come back to you, Rich. We've got rid of a lot of the bobbins players and charlatans and saved a bucket load of cash. If we can somehow get any European football fans back, the money will improve. We're second in the league on commercial revenue generated now. Also, is that the case? I didn't read that. That's interesting. So I don't want excuses. We have no money as well. Let's go big, bold, and quick to get everyone in before the deadline and go for it. And Russ wants us to get Bentner back.
I'd rather cut it.
Good shout, Russ. Good shout, Russ. Lord, get the Lord back in. He's the saviour.
Have we got clearance of copyright?
We'll find that in a minute.
Yeah. And he gets taken off the air, you know why.
And Mark Green as well. Right. So, Rich, I'll go to you now after catching up on the comments. You were saying something.
No, you were saying about Arteta's style. So he's got nice hair and he's got a nice lining jacket. So I think that's his style. It's pretty cool, to be fair. So, Chappers is back. That was scary, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know. God
Let's hope you can hear us.
Can't see you.
Can you hear us?
Oh yes, there we go. All right, let's go. Let's go, landscape.
Bloody hell. I'm not sure we should have you on now, Chappers, to be perfectly frank.
Really done anyway.
I'm joking, Chappers.
Really,
Very glad to have
I
you
can
here.
just about hear you. Sorry, I'm at my mum's, and all I can say is that it's so far it's not been the easiest experience getting on, but it's really nice to see your face. What have I missed?
It is. Likewise. Well, you missed
Mr. Cure Love Cats was playing.
It actually ruined Chappers. You wouldn't believe it. It was really funny. But you can watch it.
Was that some sort of Love Cats interlude?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very pleasant it was as well.
James was saying.
I have no idea how that happened.
Just yeah.
Well, let's
honestly no clue.
Let's just thank the Lord it was the Love Cats then.
Yeah, not something else.
Chappers, right? Are you? Can you hear me now properly, on time, without a lag, and all clear? Great.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Just give us, because I want to move on in just a second. Give us your thoughts on whether Arteta has to win the Europa League this season, or does he have to? Would finish sixth be enough for him to say?
I mean, it's the problem with our fan base is that they deal exclusively in absolutes, don't they? So it's either this or this. I'm a bit more of the opinion, I suppose, a bit more of the school of. I think what I really want to see is progression. I want to see us playing good football. I want to see us improving, and I think that has been happening on a kind of fractious level, I suppose. But so are you saying? Do I think that Arteta has to win the Europa League to save his job?
Yeah, I'm putting yourself in the shoes of Josh Kroenke.
No, I think that they hired him for a long-term project. That there's some mitigation there as well with regards to the transfer window, because nobody's buying and nobody's selling, or nobody was buying and nobody was selling in the last window for sure. So I think there's some mitigation there. I think they'll give him some extra time regards to the situation, but again, it all really depends on how much money they're going to give him to spend and how much is going to be available to spend. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go around quickly and ask each of you 2 questions. Right? Go to you first, Rich. Should Arteta go if he finishes 6th in the league and we crash out of the Europa League before the final? Should I, in your opinion?
If we finish 6th?
Yeah, just a quick answer.
I would say no. If he finished 6th, no. I think he will be in Europe, so he deserves another opportunity next season.
And I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to do this with all of you. If, and it's a big if, Josh Kroenke pulled the trigger, give me 2 names that you think would come to Arsenal and do a better job.
I must admit, I quite like Hasselhurtel of Southampton.
Yeah, me too.
I wouldn't have too many objections to him. I actually really liked Tuchel actually before he went to Chelsea. We missed out there. Graham Potter.
You're a bastard. You pick my honestly. Seriously, I'm not even joking. I was going to pick those 2. I think Graham Potter is doing a wonderful job, and I think if they had a striker, they would be probably pushing Europa League and definitely above us.
They play the best football. They play some of the best football in the Premier League. Actually, they're not winning any games, but they're playing fantastic football to watch.
They can't score goals. If they'd have got Ketia, believe it or not, I honestly think he would be scoring goals for him. Genuinely.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I do. Yeah.
I'll move on to you, Ryan. I'll move on to you. Same question first. Putting yourself in Josh Kroenke's boots, would you sack Arteta if he just finished 6th and we didn't win the Europa League?
I think I'm along the same lines as Richard. If he does get 6th, it's a European spot. Yeah, he deserves another year because then he's at least got one of the worst case scenario objective of European football in one sense, and then for that case, he does deserve that chance to redeem himself for next season and reassess things.
Okay,
from August till October-ish.
Yeah, cool. And same question for you. And this is not when I say this, I'm not saying that any of us want him to go. But if Josh Kroenke did pull the trigger, have you got any other names that you would?
Ten Hag of Ajax,
realistically, and do a better job.
Yeah, Ten Hag of Ajax, because I see what he did with the project at Ajax and the youngsters and and again they played good football there. And if you think the way Monaco fell off when they started selling their players after one good season, where everyone expected that same thing to happen to Ajax, and to be honest, he's done well and it's continued. There hasn't been no dip or anything in that sense. So I wouldn't mind someone like him, and he's got some experience behind him as well. He might never know, might bring Mark Overmars with him in some capacity. And on
the wing, you do well on the wings.
But yeah, even with the false hip.
Yeah.
You do a decent job.
And other than that, I'm trying to think now. Because Potter was a good shout, actually. But the obvious one had been, would he come to us at the third time of asking as a Allegri? I don't think he would. The other one would be Rafa Benitez.
Yeah.
Because he's Premier League experience, and he's out there when he was time at Liverpool saying the blueprint we had at the time for going forward, the way things were going with us, was the way to go and things like that. So, and look what he did at Newcastle with a Championship side.
I think that if we'd have got him when I wanted him before we got bloody hell, Emery. Sorry, his name went out of my head.
Before Emery came in, yeah.
Get rid of it out there. I think it would be in a great position now if he'd have come in when Emery came in instead. Anyway,
if he'd have cleaned up and done a bit of the old. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely certain about how he might be for the team long term.
I'm just going to quickly jump into the chat because James Johnson has said Rafa Benitez and Nagelsmann. I'm not sure Nagelsmann will come to us at the moment. I would love him to. Don't be wrong. Good. I don't think it's realistic. And he also said he wouldn't come, but I'd take Brendan as well. Do you know what, James? I think he will come in a flash. Genuinely. I really do.
I don't want Brendan, by the way. I don't want Brendan. I don't like him.
Well, I think he would come because his ego would want to be the person
that's the thing.
who could take over from Wenger. He would want to be the person to bring the glory days back to Arsenal.
Yeah.
He would see himself as being able to do that. And
he's a bottle job, though, isn't he? He's a bottle job, isn't he?
Also with his
getting better with age, personally.
Also with his ego, though, that's the thing. With his ego, would that make things worse than what we are at the moment? Because in the sense of too much egotistical. That was the thing that Sterling always said when he was coming through at Liverpool. He believed in himself way too much, and it put players off.
He seems to get the best out of players, I think. I think they all love him.
Well, Leicester and Celtic, obviously Celtic you're expecting, but Leicester is come back to Premier League, and you can't dispute the results.
He improves players for a start. Definitely improves players.
But excellent manager, isn't he?
Yeah, and I don't think Arteta is in my heart of hearts. I mean, why is he not playing bloody hell, Martinelli? Why is he not playing Martinelli? I don't understand it. Anyway, let's move on to you, chappers, for the last point before we move on. Same question for you. Do you think if you were Kroenke, you would sack Arteta if he finished 6th with no Europa League next season? I mean, I'll rephrase that. Without winning Europa League.
think if there was, again, considering the circumstances and considering the Kroenke's kind of desperation to actually pump any money in the club themselves, rely much more on the self-sustaining model. I think that, a place in the Europa League would be good enough for them. So 6th would be good enough for them. I mean, again, it's been a funny old season, a mitigating season. He hasn't really had really had a fair crack at the whip, considering the circumstances. I know that everybody's been under those circumstances, but it's not the circumstances that we're very, very much used to. So, if I was in that position, no, I wouldn't get rid of him. A lot of German manager names have kind of come up, really, because I think I don't think that Nagelsmann would want to come to us. I think he's definitely sort of holding out for something like Madrid, or perhaps certainly a higher profile job. But I sort of going, sort of keeping in that area. I think our young managers that are showing quite a bit of promise that we could kind of get hold of. I think somebody maybe like Marco Rose, who is Leverkusen? Yeah, Leverkusen. And Leverkusen have been sort of punching above their weight a little bit, and they do seem to produce, decent players that are very much coveted by other clubs, and they seem to operate within a decent self-sustaining model like that. And I also think from oh God, what are they called? Paul Salzburg, Jesse Marsh, the American guy. Oh, yeah. Because I think that he's sort of probably hit a ceiling there in Austria, and I think that he's better than Austria. I think that perhaps he should have a fair crack at the whip.
Good shout.
Good
shout.
Nice probably wanting you challenge.
No, just
sorry, mate.
Put them away.
Nice snappy answer. Well done.
Nice happy what?
I'm joking. Nice snappy answer.
Oh, sorry.
Joking. Well done.
I can't even get this private chat box down. How do you do that?
Just click on the top one, sir.
It's an unmitigated disaster, mate. What can I say?
Right, I've got deal or no deal. I'm going to just ask you. There's just one today. Richard, it's been rumoured today, and I'll just give you a brief overview on these players and the price. But if you opened the box and you were given the opportunity to sign on a permanent basis Martin Ødegaard and Danny Ceballos you have to do it as a double deal in this scenario for 60 million quid. Do you do it in the summer? Because it's looking very likely they desperately need the money and they want a striker.
So, I mean, obviously, Ceballos is about 20 odd million, isn't he? So that means 40 million for Ødegaard. Do you know what I would do, actually? Is this allowed? I don't know if it's allowed, but what I would do is I would take the deal.
Or none.
I would do the deal and then I would sell Ceballos. Like a bit like a Clive Allen scenario. Buy him as part of the deal so we get Ødegaard, and then I would sell Ceballos immediately to somebody else for as much money as is possible to get for it.
Bastard. It's a very sneaky answer, and I'll take it because it's a very clever one, mate. Very clever one. Yeah. Do you know what?
I should be dealing with the transfers for Arsenal, shouldn't I? Because I'll do stuff like
that. Ruthless as well.
Just to get Ødegaard in, see you later, Ceballos. Bye. Off you go.
I think Ceballos will continue to surprise people if he actually gets a run, which I've been saying all along alongside Thomas Partey. He hasn't played alongside Thomas Partey at all. Yeah, and I think I'd
like to have a look at that.
I think it's a massive upgrade on Xhaka, personally. And I would sell Xhaka and I'll keep Ceballos. And I would sell Xhaka to help fund both of those deals. I would. Any day of the week.
His stock is fairly high now, I guess. You would not sell Xhaka, Rich?
No, I wouldn't.
No. Let's not get into Xhaka. It's my show.
I wouldn't sell Xhaka. Not unless we were going to replace him with somebody better. I wouldn't just sell him.
Ceballos is much better.
He's not. No, he's not. He's a different sort of player. I wouldn't say he's better or worse. He's a different sort of player. If we sell Xhaka and buy Ceballos, that actually leaves us short in midfield of a player like Xhaka, because that's him and Partey complement each other well. And if we're going to sell Xhaka, we need a player to come in who can do that job. And Ceballos can't do that job because he's not that sort of player. And that's the issue that we'd have. I would sell Xhaka if we replaced him with somebody better.
You could do
it. If we're not going to do that, then we've got to keep Xhaka.
I think you say you can't do that job, but you can do it better than Xhaka.
No, you can't. You can't do that.
Oh God!
His ball recoveries are exceptional. His passing is just as good, but he passes better, I think, in the final third, with regards to sort of slipping the through balls through. The opportunity to play the role that it would suit him. Ryan, what's your answer? Deal or no deal?
Well,
they are, James, different players, but I think it would be a better partner for Partey. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think
Ryan.
If it was just if you could do it like separately, it wasn't have to be a joint deal. I'd have Odegaard all day long because he's hit the ground running so far, touch wood. And he's that sort of player we've been crying out for years. He's basically the nearest player we've had, who technically and actually shows it, to Dennis. Since Dennis was told, we've obviously bought in Ozil. We never
Suarez. Oh right, sorry, yeah, that one.
Dennis Suarez was good.
The Dennis, the only Dennis that counts in recent history. that actually came in and won things.
Yeah, exactly.
No, because we brought in Ozil. Ozil was meant to be the next, not the next Dennis Bergkamp, but the ideal replacement. As in, since Bergkamp retired, he was the nearest one we sort of could have had to that. It never really worked out. Whereas Odegaard's coming up. There was a game, the league time itself, the ball came over the top for 30-odd yards, and the touch he took for it, and literally that one touch, it was a touch pass in one sweep movement, and it was absolutely sublime. It was literally going back the years of, as I said, Dennis, things like Dennis used to do. Literally, you wouldn't notice in that first, but if you watch it back, you see it. And you appreciate it because it's trying something different. He's using these skill and flair to try something new and try and open things up and stretch their defence and things like that. Ceballos for me between now and then, for me to go deal would have to be consistent now. But doesn't help. What doesn't help him is when he gets dropped. If he just put one of games together, that's my. That's
another worry about Arteta.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't help. What's not helping him is if he does put one of games together, he then gets dropped for Arteta's favourite men.
Exactly.
That's not help. That's not helping.
It's a big worry for me. That's one of the. In fact, I think that is the biggest worry for me. His man management and the way that he treats players like that. I don't think you should. I think if you're in form, you keep your place, and that's what he's fighting for every week. I can't remember which player it was. Very famous player. Hopefully, maybe one of you guys or the viewers can remind me who it was. Said, "I play every game, every week, like I need to win my place back for the next game, keep my place for the next game." And he said, "That's how I approached every single football match."
That was Xhaka said that. It was Granit Xhaka said that in his press conference today when he was.
Yeah, I said, "Fuck off, Richard." No. I'm joking. I would never tell you. I'll never tell you that. There's an X in the top right hand corner. No, one of the down arrows on the top right hand corner, mate.
It's the down arrow, yeah. It's the down arrow.
Yeah, I'll just click on that and it goes down.
Yeah. Not with your finger, with your mouse.
Completely lost track now. I've completely lost track. I think we've all done. Oh no,
we were talking. I'm sorry, look,
deal or no deal?
Chucking spanners in the works. Like, you know, I just, in all fairness, it's part of my job, I think, to bring a little chaos to the podcast, and I can certainly say, tonight.
Bull in a China shop springs to mind, mate. Bull in a China shop.
So this is part of it. I can't even hear you very well. Anyway, moving on. You were talking about. I completely forgot what you were talking about now. Oh yes,
deal
whether
or no deal?
I would buy Ceballos and Odegaard together. Yes. Sorry, had you finished, Ryan?
Yeah, I finished. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, all day. If you're talking about like Rich said, 20 million for Ceballos and 40 million for Odegaard, that sounds about right. I mean, I kind of agree with you, Andrew, in that I think Ceballos is very, very, very handy midfield cover. And there are some games where you need him to come on and just bring a little bit of dynamism to the midfield, really, and zip about, bring a little bit of energy, shake things up a little bit. So he definitely has his place in the squad. And as I mean, most of you guys have already waxed very lyrical about the garden. I mean, I'm with you. I love the fact that he's so understated as a player. He just seems to do everything right, but without any kind of fanfare or showiness, if that makes any real sense. I mean, he's only added a couple of starts to 2 starts.
2 starts and a couple.
Yeah, he's had a couple of starts, but already you can see he just slots right on in there, doesn't he? So yeah, I'd absolutely take the deal all day for 60 million quid. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, Rich. I think that there needs to be another element of cover there if we're going to get. There needs to be another player that's like Xhaka. Xhaka that is an upgrade on Xhaka that doesn't get caught so flat-footed all the time, and
funny you should say that.
Has a bit more pace. Sorry.
Funny you should say that. That leads us on to the next topic. Sort of.
Oh, okay.
Well done, Chapman.
I should be working radio, shouldn't I?
I want to end the show on a positive. I want to end the show on a positive note. Right? Despite Chappers, okay? And joke. Right. His face, wait. Are you frozen or is that just your face as it is? I'm quite scared now, Chappers. Right. It's been reported today that we're very close to not only securing Miguel Aziz on a long-term contract, but also following Balogun. It looks much more likely that he will also sign a new long-term contract. And in my opinion, and I know Richard's going to try and rip me a new one, but I would sell Xhaka, do that deal, and I would promote Aziz to be the understudy and learn from Partey next season, and have him on the bench and having more minutes, because I think he's very, very good quality midfielder, and I think we need to stop blooding these players, because if we don't, we're going to get to the stage where we are that close to losing both of them again. We need to play them. If they're good enough, they will do well. If they're not, we're just in the January or the end of the season. But we need to give them a new contract and protect their value either way, and give them a chance. So, what my question is on this point is, do you think that where we are in the Premier League now, Rich, that we should just be playing these two guys anyway, as much as possible this season until because we've got how many games left in the league? 16, 17?
Well, that many have we? It's only about 13, isn't it? 13?
13 or 14, something like that.
We played 25, haven't we?
Of course. Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, it's even more of a case, really,
25, yeah,
to actually give them minutes and blood them in and give them more of a confidence boost before next season. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think that there's two aspects we need to look at, really. In terms of a confidence boost, how much of a confidence boost is it playing in a team that's losing games and not playing particularly well? That's one aspect that we need to look at. The second aspect is, well, no, but, you know, is that going to boost or help their development or not? I don't know. I personally think they should be in the squad, in the 18-19 squad, whatever it is now, with all the subs that we can have. There's no harm in sitting on the bench. I mean, the other game, I can't remember which game it was now, recently, we had about 5 defenders on the bench. It's like, well, surely sticking them 2 on instead of taking 2 defenders out and stick them 2 on the bench is going to benefit them. They're going to learn from the experience of being in the squad a bit more, especially Aziz, who's not really been in there that much. And yeah, maybe get them to get some minutes. Maybe not necessarily starting games, because I do feel as though the league's still too important. We do need to finish top 6, and I think we need to win as many games as we can. And I don't know whether throwing them in on a regular starting basis is going to help us to do that necessarily. I think we need more experienced players to step up and play better, and maybe having to blood in a couple of youngsters at this moment in time may not be the best way to do it. I'm not sure, but they definitely should be in the squad, and they definitely should be getting minutes on the pitch. But yeah, and let's see how they get on. But it's a difficult period because we're under quite a lot of pressure at the moment, I think. Arteta's under pressure. I think the whole team are under pressure to get results because of how poor we've been. And yeah, sometimes you throw a youngster in. I mean, look how Saka's responded to the pressure this season. You know, he's only 19 and he's stepped up, hasn't he? And maybe Aziz is capable of doing that as well. I mean, it took Saka, maybe this is his second year in the squad to do it. He hasn't done it. He didn't do it immediately. And obviously Smith Rowe's come into the squad, and I know he's a little bit older. He's a year older, isn't he? I think he's 20. Had a little bit more experience, and they've come in and done a job. So I think they're a bit young, Aziz and Balogun, at the moment to be put in the faith that we need in players to come in and be able to help us get results. But yeah, I would give them time on the pitch. I'd have them in the squad for not every game necessarily, but certainly for a lot of the games, I would have them on the bench. And I say possibly bring them on if the game goes that way. If we need a goal, last 10 minutes, get Balogun on. Brilliant. You know, if maybe there's an opportunity for Aziz to come on in midfield and do a job in there for the last 15, 20 minutes of the game, bring him on, get him minutes. But I think that would be as far as I would go with it. I wouldn't be looking at playing them 90 minutes yet.
No, of course not. Of course not. But the more minutes they get between now and the end of the season, surely it's got to be a good thing, because it will give them a lot of confidence in their own ability. It will give them confidence that the club really wants them and to integrate them into the club. And it will obviously give us an opportunity to see exactly what they can do between now and the end of the season as well.
And there's no fans as well. So if they did have a bad game, I guess they're not going to get the reaction from the crowd that they might get, or some players get. I'm not necessarily they would, being young players, but you know, with no crowd, I guess maybe there's a better opportunity for them to be able to make mistakes and give the ball away or miss a chance, and not get the crowd, you know, that noise that goes up from the crowd when you miss a chance, you know what I mean, or something like that, or do a bad pass, and not put that pressure on them as well. So it might be a good time to get a minutes, definitely, But I think we need to be careful with them, because when you throw young players into a losing team or a team that isn't winning games, then it can not help their development. It can go the other way, because they'll lose confidence. But
at the same time, Richard, look what happened when we threw in Smith Rowe and Saka. It could actually change the.
They had a bit more experience, though, didn't they? They did have a bit more experience. I mean, Smith Rowe had been out on loan a couple of times.
Of course,
Saka had played last season, so I think that they had a bit more experience to come in, and you could almost rely on them to do something. It's a bit of an unknown with those two. Balogun's done well in the games he's played in the Europa League against very poor opposition, and Aziz had one game, didn't he, in the Europa League, came on and played well, but again it was against a very poor opposition in the Europa League. So I think are we confident they can come in at the top level of the Premier League and produce performances? I don't know. We don't know until we see it. But I do feel that there's so much pressure on us to get results at the moment that it might not help them if they're given that responsibility and they're maybe not ready to take it yet because they haven't got the experience. And I think that might not help them. So it's give them minutes, definitely. Get them on the bench, get them involved, get them some minutes if you can, and that'll be it. And hopefully they can integrate themselves in, have some good minutes, do something good, and show that what they could potentially bring. And then next season, then we can hopefully get them a lot more time because we'd have hopefully the Europa League group stage if we're in it and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, I think that's the way to go with them. But be careful with how we do it. Don't just throw them in too much. I don't think Arteta will because he hasn't done yet, has he? I mean, it took him 3 months to put Smith Rowe in the team when we were losing every week. So he's not going to suddenly throw Balogun in now, is he? Or Aziz. So, but yeah, I'd say that's probably the sensible approach anyway with them at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. Ryan, what's your thoughts on that?
What you said, it's long-term contract as well. So that does say, as a fan, that this club does have faith in this players. They do want to integrate them into they do see a long-term first team-wise with these players. It's fantastic because, as I said, we saw again the opposition wasn't great, but you can only play what you're allowed to be put up against. And Aziz literally came off the bench. I think it was a Dundalk away. When he came on, and he didn't look out of place. He didn't look like he was a youngster making his debut for the first.
I wouldn't have looked out of place against Dundalk, no.
No, but you know what I'm saying. Literally, didn't look like because there's.
He felt no pressure though, did he? It doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying,
playing your first Europa League game. It doesn't really matter who you're playing against. You want to impress.
And if anything, he improved at midfield.
If anything, he felt confident, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. If anything, on the night he improved the midfield when he came on because he looked a bit more expansive and wanted to go forward.
Because he replaced Del Nenny, that's why.
That's true. And I'm trying to be confidence here.
Well, no, I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think just a little bit of perspective with it.
Yeah. And Balogun,
I agree. He played well that night when he came on.
And Balogun as well. Literally, again, like Richard said, again opposition, but then was it 14? Was it effectively 14? Not even 20 or 25 minutes or whatever football. And he's got 2 goals, 2 assists.
An assist.
And that's, to be honest, that's not a bad thing. But again, it's not. At least we're not losing him on 3. That's the worrying thing for him because the longer this went on, he suddenly weren't on the bench out of nowhere. Even though Arteta say, I'm confident he's going to sign, he's going to stay. It's just down to the agent stuff now. We weren't seeing him even in the FA Cup games on the bench, and it was a bit. Well, you're saying this, but he's not on the bench. That was a bit concerning, especially during that transfer window where he could have gone anywhere outside of the Premier League. But thankfully, if this is true, fantastic because it's 2 very young prospects that we're now looking to invest, not just investing on the pitch, but going forward and showing them faith that we do believe in these players. Because again, it's like when George Graham came in. Yeah, he went out and got the Lee Dixons, these unknown players, Lee Dixons, Steve Bowles, etc. But he also invested in the youth. And because he got the balance right of doing that, we saw the fruits of what he bared in 87 in the League Cup final, in 89 for the league title, in the early 90s as well.
Don Howe put a lot of them players in the team, though, didn't he? The season before, so, the Rocastle.
But he could have quite easily come in as a new manager. He
could have been
the So he continued to show that faith in them, and as I said, we saw the fruits of the labour, and I think this is what Arteta has to do. He's got a lot of work. Something we haven't really touched on since I've come on is we don't know how much damage behind the scenes Raul has done to this club. We only know about the Pepe deal. What other stuff has he put us in?
Terrible. I don't even want to think about it. But at the end of the day, he's gone, and that's the good thing.
Yeah.
Chappers, I'm going to come to you. Can you hear me? You're looking very confused.
Yeah, I can hear you. Hang on 1 second. Right. I'm just trying to work out. Do you want to say something again?
What do you think would be the best course of action with these 2 guys? Well, actually, before you answer that, can one of you remind me when Patrick Vieira came in and made his debut, and obviously he was never out of the team after he made his debut pretty much. How old was he then?
19, I think. Maybe younger.
So same age as Aziz, yeah?
20, wasn't he?
And he'd
19,
already played for Inter Milan. Basically, the point I'm trying to make is if you've got the talent, you will shine, you will rise to the top. If you haven't and you can't hack it, you will fail.
Well, we're seeing that.
You will never know until you get. And what I'm saying is, I'm not advocating that he comes in and he starts every game. I don't think it'll do it. James, you're right. It was AC Milan. I do apologise. Not Inter Milan. Slip of the tongue. But the point is that if you've got the talent, you will thrive.
The issue. Sorry, go on.
No, carry on, Chappers. That'd be a good film, that would, couldn't it?
I was going to say, I think a lot of the issues these days with this is really like I'm competing with my mum's freezer. All I can say, actually, I'm just going to say this now. It's a little bit like I'm likening these playing conditions to. Do you remember QPR's plastic pitch? Actually, no, Luton Town's plastic pitch. Right? It's a bit like going from the carpet to Luton Town. Actually, no, my Wi-Fi is terrible. It's a bit like going from Forest Green Rovers ground to Malmesbury Victoria Football, right? Hellenic League. Anyway, I'll get back to I'll get back to what we were talking about. I think the issue is that the difference between like Vieira making his debut at the age of 20 and the likes of maybe, I mean, Saka was what, 18, Fabregas was 16. I think the difference really, the athleticism levels are so much higher now than they were then. I mean, I know it's not massively long time ago, but I think the athleticism levels are so high, and it just takes a while, I think, for those young men to become kind of fully grown athletes, if you like. And I think that is the reason that a lot of these coaches aren't giving talented young players as much playing time, is because I think that those athleticism levels are so much higher than they were that they don't, quite rightly don't want to break them and don't want to, don't want to spoil their talent, I suppose. Does that make any sense?
No, absolutely. But every single great player in all of history of football has been backed by a manager and given their opportunity at some point. And I'll just reiterate, if you're the cream, you'll rise to the top. A horrible, cliche, but it's true, isn't it? You will survive, you will thrive, you will be a good player, because it's all about your ability, your confidence, and your overall package that you are as a professional footballer. If you're not good enough, you'll get found out very quickly, and at least we'll know. But we need to we definitely need to give these guys a new contract regardless, and protect their value, and give them that chance, because it'll be a crime if we didn't, in my opinion, because they're not just, and I said this about Saka and Smith Rowe, they're not just normal young players. You can tell they've got that little bit extra. They've got that little bit extra quality, and you can tell that very, very quickly, player, I think. So I think it makes a big, big difference. Now, just before we finish, just a couple very, very quick points we'll go through with regards to the two upcoming games. I'm just going to quickly go through the comments, because everyone's been banging in the comments today, and it's been fantastic. Ross Morgan, going back to the managers, he's mentioned Simeone. Why would he leave at the moment? I mean,
we think the football's crap now. You want to see Simeone football? Jesus.
I mean, I'm not so saying I would turn him down, clearly, Russ, but I mean, come on, he's going to win the Liga this year. DWTT, thanks for watching, mate. He said, in college, I would wake up to Fascination Street. Give me a long time to fully wake up. Fascination Street, is that a spin-off of Coronation Street?
That's a good song, that Fascination Street, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that by The Cure, by any chance? Or,
yeah.
Is that another song by The Cure?
The Cure, yeah.
This episode is sponsored by The Cure. Russ Morgan said Eddie Howe is available. I did reply in the chat. I think Eddie is not Arsenal quality. I don't know whether you're tongue in cheek there, Russ, but not for me. Brenda is doing a fantastic job at Leicester. You can't argue with that at all. JJ said,
but he is a massive man, though, isn't he? That's the thing.
Back into the Champions League, I'll take it.
They won't finish in the top 4 again. They'll blow it in the last 6 games like I did last year.
They won't this season. I don't think they would.
If he blew it again, surely Leicester owners will sack him then, because that's 2 years on the bounce.
Yeah,
having it in your hands and all that.
I think you will. I don't think
that's worse than like what Emery did. Really, isn't it?
Yeah. Emery did 1.5 seasons basically.
The Mönchengladbach manager is going to Dortmund in the summer, he thinks.
He is. They confirmed it a couple of weeks ago. Mönchengladbach.
Who is going to Dortmund?
Rose.
Marco Rosa.
The Muslim. Yeah.
Oh, is he? Oh,
yeah.
Shame.
Potentially with Sven Mislintat.
You like a good Rose, don't you, Chapman?
What's that, sorry, Rich?
I said, you like a good rose, don't you, Chapman?
Always.
Melvin. Thanks for watching, Melvin. He said no deal to that deal. JJ said no deal. DWTT said give them Laka. I think they want better than him. They're going after Haaland and Mbappe. So I don't think Laka will make that cut, unfortunately.
I don't read it.
He also goes on to say no deal and then sell them Laka. Again, no chance whatsoever, I don't think, mate. JJ said keep Xhaka as a squad player. I would rather, personally, it's my own personal opinion, I respect yours, but I would rather, like I said earlier, just give Aziz a chance on the bench as a rotational player. JJ agreed with you, Rich, so JJ's gone down in my estimation just a tad. Move on from that.
No, I think
Ceballos and Xhaka are totally different players. I'm not denying they're different players, but I think they're a better match. I mean, Ceballos and Partey are a better combination than Xhaka and Partey. Again, just my opinion. In this scenario, Andrew, can we buy Ceballos for the 25 million reported? That was euros. And loan Erdegaard again for another year. No, that wasn't what you obviously got caught with you, Joe, because I said 60 million to buy them both. When Dag, I don't know how to pronounce that. I think it's the Nigerian fella.
The Nigerian guy, yeah.
Buys the club. We can buy whoever we want. Mark Green said. Thank you ever so much, mate. For that'd be a bit of a joyride, wouldn't it? That I think if that happened, blimey.
We'll be the new Man City.
I want that. Melvin Marks said, not with 5 minutes to go. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Melvin, you are referring to just bringing on Aziz and, Balogun with just 5 minutes to go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's what you meant.
I think it's a bit of a slide dig at Arteta for the weekend where you put on Ceballos for 5 minutes to go.
Yeah. Of course.
Oh, it'll be that one. Yeah, he's referring to Ceballos. Yeah. See, that's Melvin's sense of humour. That very clever.
Exactly. Very sharp. 20 minutes late, but Aziz could learn throw. Just says James. He can. What does that mean? He can learn Afro hairdressing or something, or. Not sure. Aziz is currently injured, that's why he's not been around. I think and where are we? So happy about him being signed, though. Immense talent, totally agreed. Melvin's gone on to say Aziz seems to be as confident on the ball as Fabregas had as a young player. I mean, we're not comparing skill and talent and all that sort of stuff yet. But confidence-wise, probably would be fair. I think we agree. I know it was only Dundalk, and Russ Morgan says Dundalk are a pub team, no doubt whatsoever. But Mark Green said, Russ, you can only play what's in front of you. Agreed. And when it's your debut in Europe, it's still going to be a pressurised situation, and he just looks like a duck to water. JB's corrected me again, and so did Rex. I know it wasn't anything bad. I got it wrong. Ryan rates Ed Howe.
Not an Arsenal quality though. He's not, as you said, he's not Arsenal quality. So
he's had my doubts because they always got to a certain level and then just went off a cliff. Terrible. I don't think he improved. I don't think he improved any of the players either at all.
It's not even that,
players that played for Bournemouth were already of good quality. The ones he brought in, especially, none of them improved. In fact, I would actually argue they digressed.
Yeah,
regressed. They regressed. Yeah, I should say.
It's a bit of a, for me, it's a bit of a scream of David Moyes when he joined Man United after Ferguson left. It's a bit of that, and I'm not because after we all saw what happened then, and I'm like, no. Yeah. He needs, as I said before, he needs to go to another team, like mid-table team or whatever, with a bit more talent to their name, so we say, and see how he does there, and then let him build his way up to a big club, not an Arsenal, but a big club.
No.
And go from there.
I think he needs to go abroad, personally. But it doesn't say something that he hasn't been snapped up yet. That's a bit strange. You know, he's such a highly rated young English manager.
He has been taking a bit of time out, hasn't he? From what I can hear, from what I hear. Certainly, when I saw him on the telly, he didn't seem that bothered.
Next time I'm sacked, I'll put it on my CV. I'm just taking time out.
Yeah. To
clear my head.
Apparently, he has been approached by
$40 million payoff. Yeah.
I'm being sarcastic. I'm not actually having a go. I like him, but he's not our quality. He's not quality to pass.
Apparently,
I agree.
He has been approached, but it's only by Championship level clubs, and he wants to be at a Premier League level, basically.
I think he might take over from Steve Bruce at Newcastle.
That'd be a good shout, actually. I wouldn't. I
couldn't get any worse.
Newcastle fan was on with you, Rich, and we. I said about that. Because he'd not long been sacked. I said, what about him? And he wasn't keen at all, was he?
No. Well, that's the problem. I do think Eddie Howe's got this reputation because obviously Bournemouth got relegated. They did concede a lot of goals anyway. And I don't know whether or not that's maybe putting people off. I do think he's a good coach. He's not Arsenal, but I think he'd do all right.
No, he never did change as well.
He'd probably do all right at Newcastle, I think, personally.
Yeah. We can't really worse than Steve Bruce.
James took a shout. He said Celtic. That'd be a great shout for him, actually. Really good shout.
Yeah, actually, Celtic need a manager, don't they? So
yeah,
that'd be a really, really good fit, actually, James. I agree. And Burnley. I don't.
Well, he went there before, didn't he? And didn't work out, did it? So
unless he gets coached.
That's a bit of humour from Melbourne there.
In fact, I mean, he'll be a great shout from Newcastle. Sean Dyche.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
He would actually, he would. Yeah, they play crap football, wouldn't they? That's the only problem.
And two of the players there he already knows.
I'm going to have to go around this last bit quickly because we're overrunning. I need to get off, but thoughts about the next couple of games, really. I mean, next one is quite possibly the biggest game of the season so far. Our season hinges on this, and I also think that it could. I mean, if we lose again at the weekend against Leicester, I think that's it for anything. I mean, clearly, if we go out the Europa League and lose against Leicester, there's nothing at all to play for. I mean, under 23s team, to be perfectly frank. But Brian, I'll go to you first this time. What is your thoughts? And keep it fairly brief to get through everyone on the next couple of games. How do you think he's going to play it, squad-wise, etc.?
I do think it's make or break, as you said. I think if we get knocked out if we get next one, I don't think we will, but if we do, it puts more pressure on him in the league because he's got to go for the league then, and it puts more pressure on him, and I don't think he can cope with that. And I think that's what's going to long-term affect him in the league table. And as we said earlier, if he doesn't get sixth and he doesn't win Europa, that could be what season gone in the summer, sadly.
A season already over in... Obviously, it's still February, but in normal terms, it's January, really, in a normal season, if you know what I mean.
In a normal season, yeah, let's say, yeah.
And I think that would be a record, wouldn't it? It's nothing to play for in January, technically.
No, we didn't
in terms of where we are in the season.
Yeah, we never had. Don't think we've heard that even under Wenger in the latter years, because we always had like the Champions League and things like that to look forward to.
We always had the top 4. Yeah.
That would be the worst season ever, I think. With nothing to play for.
He could arguably finish lower than George Graham did in, was it 95?
When he'd gone before the end of that season as well.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts then? Give us a prediction on the next couple of games.
I think we'll win by a goal on, I think 2-1. I think we'll win on Thursday. And then Sunday, because it's Sunday early kickoff, isn't it? So we don't do early kickoffs. We don't do well on early kickoffs, but I think we're away 2-1 either side. I can't until if we win, I think it would be 2-1 to us, just by skin of. I think we'll just scrape it by the skin of our teeth somehow. We'll put, because of the confidence from Thursday, we'll put out a performance out of our asses. Because it's a typical Arsenal thing. When we're at our lowest, it's like we're back in the Boxing Day. We're all going into that. Hadn't won in a month and a half domestically, and we're thinking, "Oh, here we go! All right, here we come! Come on, Chelsea! Come and get us! Put the final nail in the coffin." And then look what happened. The players actually turned up, put a performance in, and got a result.
It'll certainly show what they think about Wenger. It'll certainly show what they think about how they play. I think genuinely, I really do, because if he even dares to rotate for either of these games, he's a mad man. You have strength in both of these. Unless you got an injury, you play your 11 players. You've got no choice.
What's concerning for me is he's took Partey out. He's not even played a single second since his injuries. He's just come back into training. He's flown him out today with the rest of the squad.
Maybe just to babysit him and stop him from flying off to somewhere.
Maybe. Well, he's not with you.
Maybe an inclusivity exercise. Come on, Thomas. You're with us. Come on, son.
Come on, then. Come on. Right, Chappers, give us your brief thoughts then on the next couple of games. It's massive, isn't it?
Okay. The Benfica game, I think we will squeak through 1-0, but we won't make it easy for ourselves. We really, really won't. It'll be a lot of effort, and but essentially, if Benfica get the away goal, then you just don't want to be going into that. But it will be, we'll squeak through for sure. 1-0, I think, but it won't be easy. Won't make it easy. I agree with what you say about he probably should go full strength, but I just get the feeling that fatigue is going to set in for the Leicester match.
Seriously,
I really want us to win. I really want us to play it. Sorry?
It could be his job.
I really want us to win. I really want us to play well. And I really want the team to dig in and give a performance. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're a little bit more physically fitter than us and a bit more well drilled than us. I think it'll be a close game, but I think they'll beat us 2-1.
Oh God!
Sorry, boys.
James said we'll win 2-0 tomorrow, but we'll get beat 2-1 at the weekend. What's your thoughts then, Rich? You're going to go for 4-0 both games, aren't you?
4-0 defeated both games. No, I think that the game tomorrow actually.
Positive Arsenal podcast. Remember, that's what your channel is called. The Positive Arsenal podcast.
Tomorrow's going to be.
Do you for Trey's description act, mate? Seriously,
I'm on my channel, so it's fine. I can be negative on this one. No. I mean, I think tomorrow actually is going to be a very difficult game because they're very organised, Benfica, and they're going to keep it tight for as long as they can. I think they'd be quite happy if it's 0-0 with 75 minutes gone, and then they'll try and see if they can nick a goal. And then if they score in the last 10 minutes, then we're screwed. But I do think we'll go through. I think it might be extra time, actually. I've got a feeling it'll be 1-1, and then we might sneak through in extra time. I've just got a feeling that might be what happened.
Not again.
Benfica didn't impress me, and the Benfica fan I had on the other last week said it's their worst team that Benfica have had for a long time, and if we get knocked out by them, then that is a serious problem, I think, over 2 legs. But the problem is we've got to fly to Greece. We've then got to fly back to Greece and play Sunday lunchtime. Leicester are at home tomorrow. They've got no travelling to do. They're going to be fresh. And I think we'll get through tomorrow, but I think Leicester are going to take us to the cleaners. I can't see us anything else other than a defeat on Sunday. It's an early kickoff, which we lose anyway, generally. And we've got all that travelling. We're not going to fly back. We're not going to get back to the early hours of Friday morning. And then we've got to play Sunday lunchtime. Whoever picked the fixtures to come that way round needs shooting, quite frankly. And yes, okay, maybe originally they thought we might be playing at home, and instead we've got to fly to Athens. So surely that game should have been changed to kick-off time. Should have been kicked off later Sunday night. Give us a little bit more of a turnaround time, and that's done us over. That has really. I know Liverpool moaned on about the kick-offs earlier in the season, but this is serious for us because it's Athens we're flying from. That's what 4-hour flight, isn't it? You know. And if it does go extra time as well, we're not going to get home till probably 8 or 9 o'clock on Friday morning.
I think we'll stay extra night, wouldn't we? We wouldn't come back until the morning. I think
maybe, but that's even worse, isn't it? That's even worse, isn't it? Flying for 4 hours on Saturday, playing on Sunday morning. Mental.
And you know what? And that's something else we didn't discuss when it comes to Arteta. He's not had any length of time with the team since he got the job. And I said it the other day, when we had that 8 days gap between, who was it we played before Leeds?
Aston Villa.
Wolves, wasn't it?
Aston Villa.
Villa. When we had 8 days between the Leeds game, and it just showed you what he can do when he's actually got time on the training pitch, because we were a different team altogether. And he's never had that length of time with the team on the training pitch since he's had the job. So you know that he can do it, but when's that ever happened since he's had the job? He's not had no pre-season, and he's got no time between matches to actually train the team in the way he wants to play, basically.
He's had 13 months with the team. He's had 13 months with them.
That's rubbish. You know that. He can't do it on Zoom, mate. Have you ever played football? Have you ever played football in your life?
Well, he hasn't done it on Zoom, has he? He's been at the training ground.
Were you trained by Zoom? You can't convince me. It's the same. Doing it online, an online chat. You can't train a team doing that. Sorry,
he didn't, did he? Yes. There was a 3-month time when obviously there was lockdown on last year, and he had to do it. Everyone had to do it that way. But he's had the rest of the time. He's had with the players in training every single day. They train 6 days a week or 5 days a week. So he's had
about 3 pitches away from your nearest teammate. You can't.
I pay money to see that. Actually, to be fair.
Exactly. I would know. No. One of those balls, those inflatable balls with your legs sticking out.
It wasn't a proper pre-season. But then Leeds didn't have a proper pre-season. Aston Villa didn't have a proper pre-season. These are teams that are above us in the league. Everton didn't have a proper pre-season. So it's the same for everyone. And he's had over a year with the team, and I would have expected that he's had enough time to get his ideas across. Definitely he has. So either he hasn't got them across very well, or the players aren't good enough. One of those two things has happened. I don't think we can blame it on the fact that he doesn't have the player. He hasn't had the players much. All they do in pre-season is run up and down for 3 weeks anyway. So I don't think that makes a lot of difference. So I don't know. I don't want to use that as an excuse. At the end of the day, we've got a busy schedule. We've had a busy season with Europa League and everything else, and it has been 3 days between games, sometimes less, and it's tough. But other teams, other clubs have been in the same situation and have coped with it better, and not necessarily clubs that have got better squads than us either. I look at Leicester, for example. They're in the Europa League. They're playing the same turnaround as us in games. And, Brendan Rodgers didn't have a pre-season with them either. And they've still improved this season so far. I still think they're going to blow it, but they've played better this season overall than they did last year. They're actually in the race for the title still. And that might go on a bit longer. So I think, I don't want that to be used as an excuse for Arteta. I'm not saying it hasn't had a factor, but it's been a factor for everyone. And it's just the way it's been the last year, hasn't it? The last year has been a difficult time for everybody. So, and some people have coped with it better than others.
I'm not using it as an excuse, a caveat, because we didn't mention it earlier. And I know that every other major news platform across the world uses our podcast to keep the finger on the pulse of what's going on with Arsenal. So I just had to get it in there, just in case they all come back to me and start complaining. So
it's a fair point to raise. It's a fair point to raise.
Exactly, yeah.
But I think we'll win. I think we'll win tomorrow, and I think we'll lose quite heavily on Sunday. Maybe 3-0, 4-1, somewhere along there. I think we're going to get our first hammering because he'll have to rest players. He's going to have to change pretty much 10 players for Sunday, isn't he? 9 or 10 players are going to have to be changed.
Yeah, because I remember when we played Napoli in Emery's season, and literally we were initially meant to play on the Sunday, and at the last minute, because of the fixture and all the complaints they were getting, Sky, because it's Sky on Sky TV, they changed it to a Monday night 8 o'clock. So Richard's got a point there. They can do it.
Yeah, of course they can do it. They should have done it.
They're making sure that we can see every single game that's played now, aren't they?
Yeah. And also in our case, we've literally got, as you said, we're playing tomorrow night, flying to Greece, and also Greece is in national lockdown. Their cases are going through the roof. So our players, along with this Benfica's players, could potentially pick up a variant of the virus, not know it, and have a test. They've got to fly back. And even if they have a test, they've then got to fly back and wait for the result. So they don't know why they're flying back, if they're bringing it back or not into the country. And then 48 hours later, they've then got to play a football match against Leicester. And then again, not knowing until before kick-off.
Well, look at this, right? You've got on Sunday, Sheffield United are playing Liverpool at 7:15. Why couldn't we have swapped with them? Why? Because Sheffield United aren't in Europe. Liverpool haven't played in the Champions League this week. So why on earth couldn't we have played 7:15 on Sunday and moved the Sheffield United Liverpool game to 12 o'clock? They can still both be on telly. Swap them round. There's no fans going, so it's not going to inconvenience anyone. Just do it.
Everyone hates us, mate.
Change it around.
I'm constructing an angry email to Sky now.
Good. Do it, yes. Do it. And to the Premier League as well.
Yeah, and
starting off, look, it's been brought to my attention that Arsenal, once again,
fascist bully boys, give us some decent fixtures, you bastards. Lots of love from Dial Square to where.
This is.
May the seed of your loins be fruitful in the belly of your woman.
It's a very strongly worded letter for the attention of Sky. It has been brought to my attention that once again we have been disadvantaged by European football fixtures.
Exactly.
And, Mark Reed said Spurs play tonight, then play Sunday after us.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a Monday night game as well.
Well, we use the term play loosely, don't we? But, yeah.
They'll lose on Sunday anyway, won't they? So
it'll be Everton play Southampton Monday, so we could have swapped with them as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Put that in your email as well, Chappers.
Yeah, it's going down now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to have to go, fellas. Thank you for getting to finish the show. Been an absolute blast, of course. I personally, just quickly, I think we'll win 3-0 tomorrow. Greece Lightning. I think they're shit, and I think we'll struggle on Sunday as we always do, and I think we will struggle probably to a 2-1 loss, unfortunately, or maybe 1-0. I don't think it's going to be bad, like you said, Richard, but I think we'll lose. And I don't get any pleasure from saying that. Whatsoever. But I think we'll smash them tomorrow. I really do. I think they're crap. We could have won it 3 or 4-1 easily in the first leg. We didn't put the chances away, but I think we'll be a bit more focused.
They haven't let in more than 1 goal in a game for 9 games, Benfica. So they might be crap, but they don't let in any goals.
Get their first one, they won it. The first stuffing of the week of the season.
Maybe.
Honestly, I'm really confident about tomorrow. I think we'll win maybe 3-0, but I'm not confident at all about Sunday. I think we'll come back and we will lose after such a short gap.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely could cost him his job in the long run. But there you go. But it's been a pleasure, Ryan. Thank you ever so much for coming on, mate. It's been great to have you on again.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me on again.
Ryan at Mr. Arsenal89 and go and we'll do the same on YouTube. Please follow his channel. And you all know how hard he works and what great content he puts out. Chappers, thank you ever so much for ruining the show. It's been fantastic.
Mate, it's always a pleasure.
Love the internet. I
just wanted to say, it's been a real difficulty trying to hear what you guys are saying. My phone is not playing ball at all. And every time I put the headphones on, that's been knackered.
Genuinely,
So I'm absolutely amazed that I've managed to get this far.
Genuinely,
It's probably the biggest achievement of my life, to be fair.
Very proud that you ploughed on. I'm very pleased, very proud that you ploughed on. I'll try and say that really quick.
You're a professional,
hopefully, see you next week.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, next week, guys, it's the Graham Ricks second show. Finally, got it back in the diary after his difficult personal situation he went through. Last time we were going to have him on the show, but great news that he's back on, because he was a really good guest last time, and I'm really looking forward to speaking to him again. There's so much more we can talk to him about, and looking forward to that. What a great career he had. Richard, thank you ever so much again, mate, and you've been blinding. I know we don't see eye to eye on loads of things to do with Arsenal, but I always love being on your show and having you on mine.
I love coming on your show, and also I love having you on mine as well. You're on Friday, aren't you? So that's going to be another good show Friday, looking at the Leicester game with a Leicester fan from Leicester Fan TV. It'll be good. So I might change my prediction for him just to I think it's important that I say that we're going to win, just because he's a Leicester fan. I don't really think we will win, but I'm going to have to say it to him, aren't I?
No,
Should I send an email off to Leicester as well, asking them to lose?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Really angry.
Strongly worded.
Right, yeah.
How much would it?
Finish it off with yours sincerely, not kind regards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, how much of a brown envelope do you want, basically?
Exactly.
That's what it's going to take, isn't it? That's the only way they're going to change it. And even now, it might be too late, actually. Even brown envelopes might not work at this late stage in the day. But anyway, it's worth a try. It's worth a try, chappers. It's worth a try.
Newspaper and pretend it's money.
Everyone stop eating crisps. It'll be fine.
Everyone stop getting shot. Oh, that's good. Everyone start taking shots. Everyone start taking shots. That'd be great. Thank you. Anyway, I'm going to finish off very quickly saying I actually back Jack on one thing, and it goes on social media, direct messaging, bringing up the families, bringing up the children. Just stop it. It's crap. And why the hell can't Twitter, Facebook, Instagram just ask for some ID? Be very easy. Don't know why. No one can actually tell me that answer. Just stop it, because it's fucking idiot, and you bring the name of the club down all the time, and it just doesn't benefit anyone. And it's not going to make us play better on the weekend or on Thursdays, or hopefully in the future on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. But that's many years ahead. But just stop it. It's useless in all aspects. So I do back him on that, but I still want to sell him. So thank you so much anyway. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Give us a like before you go, please. And that includes you three guests. Just to thank you for your time on the show. Give us a like as well. That'd be fantastic. And please don't forget to tune in next Wednesday when we have the wonderful Graham Ricks back on with us. Thank you so much, and good night. Good night, everyone.
Thank you for listening to From Dial Square to Where. Please help us grow by giving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and following the show on your preferred podcast platform. Please also visit our Facebook page, our Twitch channel, and of course our YouTube channel. And whilst you are there, please subscribe and hit the notification button so you don't miss any upcoming shows. Please also press the like button on the video so we can get recommended by YouTube to other Arsenal fans all around the world. See you soon.